going on, people? Welcome to United View. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to another transfer view, man. It's Hump Day, Wednesday, 19th of June. I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're enjoying the Euros. Hope you're following your team. We've seen every nation play now. We've had a look at everybody. Yeah, we've all had to have a little look, sees what's going on with what. I mean, look, everyone's won. Everyone who's supposed to have won did win. There was no shocks, but the way that they won.
Belgium.
Oh, sorry, Belgium. But it's like Belgium were just like, yeah. But yeah, Belgium is the only one who got done. But actually, everyone else won. But the way that they won, some high stakes games, some high thrilling games. So big up to everyone watching the Euros. Man United, there's loads to talk about back here at base. Yes, there is. Joshua Zirkzee. This is really starting to hot up. I think we've got our first pursuit, our first real sort of I know the Branthwaite is bubbling along, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but definitely Zirkzee is gathering up some steam, some pace. So we'll talk about Joshua Zirkzee from Bologna and what's going on there. We're going to talk about a new Jarrad Branthwaite bid on the way. Man United looking to up it from the 35 million that they got the ball rolling with, just to start negotiations off last week. And Casemiro. Exit update as well. What's going to be happening with Casemiro? Is he going to be able to, get them secure a move away? Could Casemiro stamp his feet down and say, listen, I ain't effing leaving. I've got 3 years left. I'm fine. I had bad injuries last year. I'm fine. I believe in myself. So we'll talk about that. And Kobbie Mainoo was the main man in the England presser yesterday. He spoke about a lot of things. His Ghanaian heritage. Was he proud to represent England? What was the process? Ten Hag, etc., etc. So a lot going on in the show. Housekeeping. Smash a like on the video, of course. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Where are we at? We're at 136 people watching. 633 people watching. 136 likes. Which let's push. Let's keep going. C-Max says morning, people. Jonathan says big up. The Lil Yo-Yo's in the chat as usual. Joe Blackman is there. Steffi Jenkins is there. Who else have we got? There's a super chat there from Omar, which I'll get to in 2 seconds. Who else have we got? Kenny Fan TV, Aminor, everyone's there. Everyone is there. Everyone is in. So big up to you. Get yourself comfortable. Get yourself a coffee. Oh my God. And go from there. Omar Touré says, morning. I'm not even on that screen where I can see you, but I've heard a gasp.
It was early. It was early. It's early.
Yeah.
It was early.
He's gone early. He's gone early.
Yeah.
Omar Touré says, morning, boys. How's Josh? Josh is fine. I believe Josh is good.
Well, he was a bit disappointed the other day because, of course, Poland lost. He's, always supports Poland.
Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah.
So that was.
That was hold that, Josh. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Good morning.
Is it? Wasn't it?
That was aggressive. That was really.
I'm trying to bring the energy that Nubian Pharaoh is bringing. I don't want to do the super chat disservice. Pharaoh's in the chat. Do you know what is funny? Actually, I only realized this the other day. I went back to watch one of the shows. I forget which one it was. Just to check something, and I saw the Nubian Pharaoh bit. And obviously on my end, I just talk. I just click the button and the voice changer comes on. I completely forgot how it actually sounds with the deep voice.
Mental. Yeah.
It's a whole production.
Yeah. It's a real life thing. Like the gong goes, we're like, oh shit, what's going on? The voice comes. Everyone in the chat acknowledges him. Like it's a real life process, bro. Like it's a fixed in thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. But yes, over to Joshua Zirkzee. What's going on?
My goodness me, a lot is going on with Zirkzee because pretty much everyone, we've got reports from England, from Italy, from Germany, all saying the same thing, is that Manchester United are not only interested, but they might actually win this race, beating out AC Milan. So how can you get even any more reputable than David Ornstein? David Ornstein yesterday said Manchester United are exploring a deal to sign Dutch striker Joshua Zirkzee from Bologna. Club-to-club talks have yet to take place, but United are speaking to the 23-year-old representatives, and their interest is advanced. The Premier League side are considering an approach to their Serie A counterparts as they weigh up Zirkzee among a number of candidates to strengthen manager Erik Ten Hag's attack. Zirkzee's contract includes a €40 million, which is £34 million release clause that potentially makes the situation more straightforward. But discussions would still be needed with Bologna, while his salary and agent commissions are also factors. Now, that bit there, agent commissions, this is really the crux of the whole story.
Yeah, this
every
is interesting.
Every single journalist is saying this. So, Florian Plettenberg, based in Germany, you would say, why would he know? Well, of course, Joshua Zirkzee used to play for Bayern Munich, so he would know his agent very well, which is probably where this story comes from. He's saying that he's been told that concrete talks between Manchester United and Joshua Zirkzee's top agent, Kia Jarrad, I think I'm going to go with Jarrad. I think that's about right.
Jarrad. Yeah, I mean, I remember him from back in the day. He was a lot of. Wasn't he the guy who owned Tevez and Mascherano?
I'm not sure.
I know that name. He's been about for ages. Yeah.
Yeah. Jarrad, let's go. Started. He says that Zirkzee, a top target for the attack of Manchester United again. And as Florian Plettenberg revealed yesterday, after a total agreement with AC Milan, is not in sight at this stage. So the AC Milan thing's kind of backtracked a little bit. Now, Plettenberg is saying that he understands Manchester United have a good chance to hijack this deal. The Red Devils are now working on a total verbal agreement. It's an open race. Ten Hag wants him. However, a deal with AC Milan is not out of the question just yet. We then go to the Mail. Simon Jones said Manchester United are continuing talks with the Netherlands and Bologna striker Joshua Zirkzee as they prepare a bid in this window. Zirkzee has this buyout clause and has been targeted by AC Milan, who were considered frontrunners for his signature. Arsenal have also posted interest, but United's positive negotiations have put them in a strong position ahead of making their offer. Though a bid is not considered imminent, one is expected. We then go to Fabrizio Romano, who's saying that Manchester United asked for information on Joshua Zirkzee's salary, commissions, and release clause details last week. AC Milan still have an agreement with Zirkzee on a contract and are planning to pay the €40 million release clause, but the deal still depends on that word again, commissions. We then go to Gianluca Di Marzio, based out in Italy, who is saying that concrete interest of Manchester United for Zirkzee, if United were to satisfy that word again, commission requests from Jarrad, the attacker's agent, there would be little that could be done for AC Milan. So really, this deal does hinge on who's going to pay the agent the most money. Simon Stone and Nazar Kinsella have also touched on this morning, saying it had been thought that Bologna striker Joshua Zirkzee would make a summer move to AC Milan. However, Manchester United are also interested and considering whether to make a bid, and there has been communication with the player's advisor and agent. And this kind of gets into the Branthwaite stuff, which we'll get into a bit later on. But just a sort of a key line here, United are keen to do business early in the transfer window and are expected to improve their £35 million offer for Everton defender Jarrad Branthwaite, which was rejected at the weekend. So really, Flex, here, we've got a situation where all of these...
They're working on two deals.
Yeah, I know, exactly. They're working on two deals. And when it pertains to Zirkzee, all of these different people are saying the exact same thing, which is, hasn't been a bid, but United are very interested. The interest is in him, is advanced. The communication started with the agent. Now, I don't know about you. The only sort of wrinkle I have in this is the reservation of this agent is talking a lot to a lot of people, clearly.
Mate.
And
it's him as well. Like... It's the same guy from the Tevez fit. I remember, bro. He's like... And then when Tevez come Man City, went Man City, like Man United, like his, sorry, carry on. But
it does feel like, I mean, I think it was Gianluca Di Marzio sort of hinted that he could be looking for something like €15 million as sort of an agent commission for this one. So whilst we would save the money in the with the release clause, obviously in the market in today's day and age, 35 million quid's not that much at all, is it? Particularly if a transfer pays off. But it does look like AC Milan, in their talks with him, had everything agreed, and they're like, but we're just not going to give you that kind of agent fee. And the question is, would Manchester United be willing to do that?
I don't know. Look, the player clearly fits the profile, the price, the age. It fits with what Sir Jim was saying in terms of, got to be careful as I say this, not the next Mbappe, but it fits with the profile of find the next, the next gen, young, something to prove. Their price aren't crazy high, and we develop them into, world-class players. That fits the mold of this. So from that standpoint, I'm pleased with that. I think that do you know what's weird is having a little bit of faith in our hierarchy now, because now we've got people who have told us and who are somewhat showing us already that they're not just going to be held to ransom. They're not just going to do things like we've done in the past. So I know this is probably a little bit naive, or could be deemed as naive from me to say, well, I kind of put it in Ineos' hands to say they hopefully they don't pay the agent anything stupid, and this guy has been sound out really well, and the negotiations are good, and they do think this kid is good, you know. Now that is a big risk. We're in uncharted territories with Ineos. I don't know. I haven't been here before, so I'm more just doing the glass half full until I get shown something else. Some people may do glass half empty until they're proved it's half full. It's all how you look at things. There's no problem in that. But it does worry me with this agent's fee. But I would like to think, with how Sir Jim's been talking and all of Ineos, with how they've been moving since they've come here, the money they've parted with since they've come here, the things they've put in place since they've come here, and now this looks like this could be our first purchase under the Ineos regime, because it looks a bit more advanced than Jarrad Branthwaite. But actually, we'll talk about it in a minute. That could just change within days. Who knows? We don't really know that, but it's one of two anyway of the first two Ineos signings. It looks like. You know, I'd like to think that, you know, they want to get this right. They're not going to be held to ransom. They're not going to give Job, whatever his name is, Kia, 15 million, you know, because that's what he's asking for. They'll walk away from the deal then. We'll go get someone else. So I am a little bit, obviously I'm concerned about that. And with who it is, like that is the guy, like he's done some mental stuff. He was at war with West Ham for ages, had to pay money. I was just reading up on it then, but I remember it from at the time. We all do. That third party ownership. With Tevez, it was mental how that even happened, and you can't even do that anymore.
And we talk about players in tournaments that came out of the World Cup in 2006, didn't it? Because these were two players in Tevez and Mascherano that we saw at the World Cup, and we were like, oh my god, these guys are unbelievable. And then to see them show up at West Ham, West Ham was like, what? They're going to West Ham
well, at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And it kind of came a bit out of nowhere. It was a real stunning deal, but I think. I was thinking about this deal last night when I was putting all these things together, and I thought this one does make a lot of sense from the Ineos perspective, isn't it? When you chatted to Laurie Whitwell the other day, and he's saying that, you know, the budget the Man United got, £50 million net, obviously it is going to be more than that because players are going to be sold. But from an Ineos perspective, and they're looking to do deals early, if they can get a young striker that's got a release clause, of course they're going to be all over that, because they're like, well, one, low release clause, so we're not going to have to overspend in terms of buying a striker. And as we saw last year, even for a young striker of potential like Erasmus Højlund, you're just going to have to end up paying more money than you would like, because strikers are at a premium nowadays, and you never know if they're going to end up being any good or not. You're always taking a bit of a gamble. And then with a release clause, you don't have to really go back and forth that much. You can just pay it. The real negotiations are kind of with the agent and the player for the salary. Yes, there's a little bit of the club, but not so much. So it makes a lot of sense why Ineos would be looking at that. Like you said, the only reservation just would be the agent fee, because it could end up being one of the most expensive £35 million signings possible. You know, when you end up we've spent way too much more than we thought. Flex muted, but you know, that's that could be a bit of a concern.
Etiquette.
Yes.
Yeah. Like when someone else is I like to, you know, don't chime in and go,
absolutely.
Etiquette, Zoom etiquette.
Absolutely.
Just don't forget to turn it on when you want to chime in. But yeah, let's exactly that. I think we just have to, there's an element of this, right, which will make us feel uncomfortable, because we don't know this regime. We don't know, we are scarred. Like, for how we do deals normally and the types of money we spend on it and the people executing it, zero faith, and rightly so. Like we realize with what Richard Arnold did and Murto and all the people and Ed Woodward and all the deals that have been sanctioned over the last 10 years, we know this. We know it is all wrong. So rightly so, as fans, we're going to be very standoffish. We're going to be very reserved in this, and like we're not going to be super excited about stuff straight away. You know, I said just before we went live there, I was like, okay, yeah, we probably might get this, kids. So I was like, well,
flex having a crisis of confidence.
and it's like, oh, and it's true. We actually have to. I'm glad I experienced that, because it's like we can't want both things. We can't want. Well,
we've done this a lot. We've done this a lot recently, by the way,
really,
as well.
Actually, we do want both things. We want to find somebody who is the next up, relatively cheap for a decent price, and they be sick. They're wicked. That's what we do. We do want both things. But when it comes to letting it happen, we have to let it be. I was like, Joshua Zirkzee, looks like we're going to get him. I'm like, I'm trying to catch Liverpool and City and Arsenal. We've got 2 young strikers, unproven. This kid's 35 million. How good is he going to be? But then it's like, well, actually, no. I've been asking for us to scout, find the next. Everybody else does it. Let's do it. And then obviously at some point we will get to a point where we do need quality. So I sort of gave myself one of them.
I'm glad that happened, because I think that kind of proves a wider point I've been trying to make recently when it pertains to Ineos, is that for years we say, oh, we want football people in. We want football people in making those decisions. Then we get them in, and then for a brief period of time, they will consider making a decision that maybe fans didn't agree with, and suddenly then they don't know what they're talking about anymore. And we don't want football people in making football decisions. And it is a case of sometimes you have to be careful what you wish for, and change, even if it's one you want, can be uncomfortable because you're not used to it. Like you were just saying there, we don't know how they're going to operate. We don't know how much information we're going to get this summer in terms of transfers. We didn't get a lot of information when it came to Jarrad Ten Hag. With these deals like this, we might just get this, and the next thing you know, by the end of the week, it might be, oh yeah, here we go. That's going to happen. It might be
which
that
is
quick.
what we want.
Which is what we want. But in the absence of information, we start to freak out because we're like, well, we're not hearing anything, so we don't know what's going on. And we have to kind of get used to the new, whatever the new version of all of this is.
It's getting used to it because it feels foreign. I should just, and look, it's not like we're hearing radio silence. We are definitely in for Branthwaite, and that is progressing. And we're definitely in for Zirkzee. That is progressing. Midfielders, we haven't really got to yet. And the question was from somebody yesterday, forgive me because I've forgotten your name, but big up to you yesterday, who said, do you think we can do more than one deal at once? Because it feels like we're just doing one. And we were like, well, there's 2 players there at the minute in Zirkzee and Branthwaite. It feels like they're spinning a couple of plates at the same time. And clearly they are. And actually, that's a big line from Simon Stone, because again, we always go through Simon Stone and where he is in the ecosystem of reporting on transfers. It's not really his forte, but he will report on stuff that he knows and has been well sourced by. He's at the BBC. He's always done it. For him to say, Man United want to get stuff done early, that's music to our ears. Now, obviously, we need to wait to see it happen.
Because we've heard that
actually
before
mean
too.
it. Exactly. It's music to our ears, along with what we can see as a fairly aggressive new regime. And assertive new regime who won't be bullied, it seems. So hopefully this transpires into, by the time it gets to, when's the first game? 15th, isn't it? Against Rosenborg. Maybe not then. Maybe US tour. By the time the 27th of July comes around against Arsenal in the SoFi Stadium in LA, in Inglewood, right? Hopefully by then we got 3 new guys there instantly. Like,
that would
at least
turn up for the books, wouldn't it? That would be
amazing. I don't know. That's listen. It could be a bit far fetched, but certainly 2. There's no reason why it can't be Branthwaite and Zirkzee. That's for sure.
Well, again, it's possible. I mean, I think with the Zirkzee one, the only thing we can't rule out is that look, he had an agreement with AC Milan, and it'll be interesting to see how much his heart was set on going there, perhaps, because as we've seen before.
Versus Manchester United.
Though. But I just mean more like, I just mean, he's already based in Italy. It might be a case of like, well, I've already, and I had something agreed there, and that's where I wanted to go. And look, we saw it last year with a bit like Caicedo with Chelsea, in the sense of they were negotiating. Liverpool put the bid in that was accepted first in the end, and he basically turned to Brighton and went, well, that's all good, but I'm not going there. I said I was going to go to Chelsea. That's where I'm going to go. And he ends up going there, and they end up working out a deal. So I don't know if that'll be the case with AC Milan. But you're right. I mean, and this sums up again where we've been the last few years. We're applauding people trying. Well done for trying to do some transfers, multiple transfers early on, but at the same time, still got to get them over the line, and also got to get them over the line for a deal that we feel is like fair and representative. It'd be typical Man United to pay a release clause, but actually we end up paying way more than the release clause actually is. It's a bit like the Erling Haaland thing. To this day, like, there is so much discussion on how much that transfer actually cost, because a lot of people like to say, well, the City's paid the release clause, and it's like, yeah, but they kind of didn't. There was a lot of extra fees involved in all of that. So we shall see.
And we don't know how good he is as well. Like, that's another thing. It's like, this isn't a player that we know. Like, I'm not going to speak for everyone because I know we've probably got a lot of, European watchers here. I'm not going to say what percentage of this chat watches Bologna for 90 minutes. But I do want you to be honest in the chat because I'm going to trust you. Yeah, because you could just lie here. And I know that. How many of you have really taken him in? Really know what he's about? You've seen Bologna 90 minutes a lot of times. I mean, in the national team, he's only just been drafted in because someone got injured. So at international level, he's not there yet. Obviously, under 20, he would have been part of under 23s, wouldn't he? Probably. So he's he's obviously young and up and coming. How much of you in the chat really do know about how he is? Because I'll be honest, until we started getting linked with him a few months ago when the season was on, I'd never heard of him. Never heard of him ever in my life. So
I tell you what, I'm not doing. Yeah, like I said, I had heard of him because he was a Football Manager player for many a year. Right? He was. If you play Football Manager for the last 5 years, he was a Football.
Was he always one of them? Yeah, he was always in the ecosystem of the.
He used to be at Bayern Munich and he was young and all that kind of stuff. So that is my point of reference for him. What I'm over, and it's always the case every transfer window, but the comps, yeah, because the last few years we have been completely done over by comps, because even to this day, hey, Anthony Dos Santos looks bloody good in a comp. Yeah, he does. You see some of those Ajax comps back, you go, that's pretty good. That's not bad going. And then when you actually see it, 90 minutes and in the system and all that kind of stuff, it's a little bit different. So I'm not going to go too much on the comps for that one. So I can't profess I'm an expert.
Well, 4 years ago, when you type him in Zirkzee Bayern to just see what's going on, the Bundesliga official channel has a video that says 3 shots, 3 goals in only 26 minutes. Bayern's Dutch young gun. That's 4 years ago. Obviously, you left there and, great finish.
Do you know what I would just want, though? Let's just have another striker. So Rasmus.
Yeah, exactly.
The idea.
Rasmus was unknown.
I was thinking about this too. I was like, the idea. When I saw like a clip of him or something, and I just thought, I don't really care what I've seen in the club. Just the idea of going into a match day and we've got 2 strikers, Flex.
I know.
We've got 2 strikers.
It's like, again, no, like you said, because we were applauding just trying because we're like, oh, that's good. Oh, we've got 2 strikers. Quality might not be there. They're really unexperienced. I don't know, but the 2 there.
We've got 2 though.
Oh,
unbelievable.
Mate, honestly, it's an absolute madness. We have got 436 likes, over 1,700 people watching, well on our way to 2,000 people watching. It's only 22 minutes into the show, so big up to you guys. Get involved, share the video, let us know what you're thinking, let us know how you're feeling. We'll read out some of the comments from the regular comment section, some of the members chats as well, which is priority, and of course, your super chats as well. Ryan, the Chelsea fan, big up Ryan, he's here pretty much every day, actually. Ryan, make sure you check out Matisse and that as well. There's a lot of good Chelsea stuff going on out there. Don't deprive yourself. Don't deprive yourself. And like, Joey Knight's good Chelsea guy. Make sure you check out the Chelsea creators as well. I want you to be up to date with Chelsea.
Maybe it's we're live. I think Matisse is usually live after us, isn't he? Around 10 o'clock.
Oh, right, okay.
Mornings.
There you go.
So maybe it's part of his sort of football. It's a smorgasbord of lots of different content in the morning.
Yeah, like MA says, Ops fans love watching UV. They do. One for the meltdowns and all that, but sometimes just because we're nice people. How about that?
Meltdowns? Don't we talking about?
Exactly, mate. Manager stay, meltdowns. Mate. Got Ineos, mate. 50 million at Karen, mate. Changing around, mate. Ryan says, if you pay 12 million in agent fees, that's crazy, though, still. Yeah, exactly. We don't want to be doing that. And PS says, this Zirkzee deal stinks of an agent ploy to get Milan to pay the agent fee. That we've seen in the past with Sergio Ramos in 2015 and many others. I remember that when he was going to go. And then the agent just got peas from that. I remember that.
I remember a lot of players, Remember
Griezmann.
Remember Ronaldo's come back to United at some point, wasn't it, that he was going to come back? Didn't end up happening. I think a couple of times ended up getting new contracts at Real Madrid. Griezmann, you mentioned there. The Griezmann one was interesting because I think that one was really close. And then wasn't it Atletico got a transfer ban? And then he was like, oh, no, I don't want to leave Atletico during the transfer ban. And like, well, I think he maybe could have, but he's like, well, can't replace me. So I don't really want to, do that kind of thing. There's a few like that.
And then the one when Griezmann went Barca, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, and that announcement video because we didn't know what he was going to do. And then He
The
announced he was going
Griezmann,
Barca. Or did that happen? Or did I make
the
that up?
Griezmann one to United, that could have been United. I think it was like 2018, around that period of time.
Remember, we was waiting and he done that mad video of like.
There have been a few, haven't they?
I'm going here.
Like they wanted to replicate. Was it LeBron did like the decision or something like that? They wanted to kind of replicate that. Yeah.
Yeah. Just need to just get away from that, really, don't we? It's very, very yeah. Thoughts on Ahmad's reports increased role. Oh, hold on, yeah, let me get to that. Let me just really quickly before we get to Jarrad Branthwaite. United one says thoughts on Ahmad's reported increased role. That's Samuel Luckhurst who said Man United now see him as basically higher up the list, more of a senior player. I want to hear that. You know, me and KG were talking yesterday on a Flexing KG show about whether to get Brian Mbeumo or Elise, and you know, KG did his KG. He's something else, and not because Brian Mbeumo is rubbish. Actually, a lot of people said he's a good shout because he's about 35 million, but just KG's just complete misprofile of the player, of where he can play, and just making stuff up was just couldn't believe it. Well, I could believe it. It's him. He was like, yeah, we should get Brian Mbeumo. I was like, that's a bit left. We're not even linked. Where did that come from? We should get him and this, that, and the other. He can play on the left. I said, no, he doesn't. He doesn't play on the left. Yeah. What do you mean? He's bro. Check his thing now. He plays on the left. I'm like, am I getting this right? He plays on the right and up front. I've never seen Brian Mbeumo come in from the left-hand side onto his right foot. I've never seen that. So we go on to transfer market, and it shows you the whole season where they've played.
Yeah.
Not once on the left. Not once. Went close up to the camera. I said, look, he's lying. This is what he does. And, if you were there, you saw it. And then he starts changing. He goes, but he can play multiple positions. That's what I meant. He's lost the plot. He really
My favorite KG one was that it was on an episode of The Trinity. And he went, wow, look, Ineos have been talking to Ralph Rangnick, getting the information from Ralph Rangnick. And we went, I didn't see that story, have they? And then we went on Twitter, and it was reported from a guy who was a golfer. Not a reporter. It just says like golfer, occasionally tweets some things about Man United. And he was like, well, it's out there. It's out there.
Do you know what he does? And do you know what? You know who I'm going to blame? Because of the cross-pollination of all our channels. Some of KG's delegates, reckless delegates, will be here in this chat right now, and you all know who you are. You lot put things in this guy's head, right, in your reckless delegation meetings, right? And you know what he does with it? He takes it and he spreads it to the wider world. He takes it out of his community, uses it as facts from you lot's opinions, and starts going, I've heard that we're doing this. I've heard that we're doing that. When really it was Uncle who called in and said this thing, and he's like, I'm going to take that. I'm going to go. It's you lot's fault. You reckless delegates who live here, and come here and pollute his mind. And he takes it. Why is he saying that Mbeumo plays on the left when he doesn't, and making it up?
It was just set with that one. You just, there was a bit of silence. You went, who is this guy? You went, he's a golfer. What's this golfer? I just got this image of like on the golf course of someone doing a putt going, they've been talking to Ralph Rangnick, have they? Yeah. Write that down. Couldn't get it on Twitter.
Oh, big up the reckless delegates, man. He's built an amazing community over there. He really has. But if you haven't joined it, make sure you lot do as well. KG,
on the Ahmad thing, what is quite interesting with that is maybe it does suggest that, that Elise thing, maybe that's the reason why that might not happen. They're going, well, budgetary, and Ahmad's going to be playing more games.
I don't mind it.
Season.
That's what I'm saying. We invested over with add-ons and that, if he gets certain appearances and that. It was like 30-40 million deal for, again, the kid who was, how old was he when he come to us? 19? Something like that?
Maybe less than that. He was very young.
Might have been 8. Actually, he was 18. I think he was 18.
Yeah. Yeah, because we had to wait, didn't we?
We had to wait, yeah.
Yeah, to January.
He was 18. Yeah. So, and then it was like, what's the deal with this kid? He's never playing for us. He's always on loan. He looks a bit slight. Is he ready? He looks quite little. It's not going to work. And then we start seeing him go out on loan to Sunderland, get their player of the season, done really well. And then we're like, actually, this guy, he deserves a chance. Doesn't get a chance for ages this season, then starts getting one. And we're like, see, there's something there. So why go and spend 60 million now in this climate when clearly we know what our budgets are? Invest in Ahmad. We've already invested in Ahmad. Use it.
Yeah.
Use the potential. And he's still only, 21? Still
young.
21.
Yeah, absolutely.
Young. So I don't mind that at all. And Ryan says, you're my 8 p.m. in New Zealand. Football fix, bro. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're from New Zealand, man. So, yeah. Okay. Big up to you. Big up to
Evening
you,
routine.
Yes, exactly. Evening routine. We're at 1,800 and 530 people who have liked the video as well. 80% of you have said yes. You have liked the video. 20% of you say doing it now. So make sure you guys get onto that. Just before we get to Jarrad Branthwaite, again, the channel is so close, so close, so close, so more than you can believe, so close. 170,000 subscribers. We are at 169. You can see it there, 169,380. So, or 37, yeah, 380. So that's quicker than that one. Please do drop a subscription. Hit the subscribe button. Let's get to 170. It'd be massive for the channel. Be really chuffed if we could do that. Right. Jarrad Branthwaite, when's the new bid going in? When are we getting him, Owen? Give me good news.
Well, I don't really have any good news, but what Simon Stone said in that piece talking about Joshua Zirkzee, is it a soft J? Joshua?
Well, I'm gonna say
you've been doing a soft J, haven't you?
I've been doing a soft J, and the reason why I've done that is because anything the Hatch man says, Kevin Hatchard, European football expert who knows everything about everyone, been on various transfer shows with him on Sky and TalkSport. In fact, that's just, I need to get hold of him because he will be able to tell us a lot about all of these types of players who we've never heard of. Yeah. And every time I've spoke about Joshua Zirkzee with him, he says Joshua. And if the Hatchman says it, and he's a Bundesliga commentator, then it's Joshua, mate.
Yeah, then it's Joshua. Okay. Well, in that piece about Joshua Zirkzee, Simon Stone did say that Ineos are looking to do business quick in this summer window, doing some early transfers, one of which is Jarrad Branthwaite. 35 million bid went in earlier this week, swiftly rejected, but we're getting closer to the end of the month, and Everton need to sell by the end of the month, clearly, and United seemingly.
Is that definite? I know that the reports are saying they have to. Is it 100% true they must sell somebody by then, or they just need to raise? They can't do it if they keep.
I think that's the plan. I mean, I know that there's exclusivity in the new buyer that I think is the owner of Roma. It's a very wealthy businessman. So that concern about, they're not going to get, I think looking back on it, the concern about they're not going to get bought by anyone, once a Premier League club becomes available, we've seen, haven't we, in lots of these sort of takeover attempts of lots of these clubs, there'll be people out there. So it looks like they're not going to be in trouble from that perspective. But still, because of last season, they had points deducted because of PSR breaches. So they're weary not to do that again. Like you said, how real that is and how much money they actually need to raise, I don't know. But United seemingly that's their strategy. That's the strategy. I've seen big up the Muppeteers. I've seen them say similar thing on social media about that, saying that the Man United strategy essentially for that is just we'll wait till the end of the month because we know that you're going to need to accept something by the end of the month. So it looks like they're going to go back in with another bid. What that would be, maybe that would be closer to sort of the cutoff point, which I think, as Laurie Whitwell alluded to, possibly sort of 50 around that kind of number. But what you would say with that number, if that's Man United's cutoff point, and Everton initially were looking for 70 to 80, then that's a lot of gaps to bridge, isn't it?
It's a big gap. So it's a big gap.
Is that what's going to happen?
Well, we did. I was saying to Laurie and Kate, me and KG were talking about it. Absolutely. Play the game with them. Like if we believe that to be true, there's no sentiment in football. We're not here to feel sorry for Everton's financial situations as much as they're in it, and wish them well. Hope they don't get relegated or anything like that. I don't want to see that, but it's not our job to. Yeah, exactly. Don't get relegated. Cease and desist. Hope your club shuts down. I don't wish that. Apart from my bitter rivals, people like Leeds and that, I'll say that to you. But I don't. It's for us to get the best deal for ourselves, and if we know that there's a bargaining chip there or something where we've got a little bit of leverage because they're in a bad situation, we absolutely have to use that to our advantage. We've been rinsed in the transfer window through stupidity for ages. Part of negotiations is using some of the weapons that you have, and if one of the weapons you have is leverage over the other person's financial insecurities, use it. Use it. So. Start at 35. Yes, it's embarrassing. It's obviously it's going to get turned down. We know that. You think Ineos really thought they were going to accept 35 million? Of course not. But it gets the ball rolling. Shows that you've got intent. We're ready to part at 35. So let's talk. Gets the ball rolling. Lets the weeks tick by and the days where they get closer to this deadline that they've got. They get a bit more twitchy. Then their willingness to come down to meet in the middle will be greater. Like it's just basic bargaining, isn't it? That's just
Yeah.
basic buying and selling. Like,
Yeah.
especially with where there's a deadline attached. Then, if the selling club were in a super strong position, if this was a team like, I don't know, Brighton, or someone who really can hold on to their players, they've no problem. We're financially stable. Crystal Palace, we've got another 5 of these, mate. We're fine. We've got a new manager. We're doing really well. We might sell 1, but we don't have to sell 5. We'll have 4. We'll have 4 left. If it's that, then it's a bit different. But Everton are in problems, so play on that within reason, and obviously have a cut-off point, which makes it easier for us because we know that by June the 30th, we can walk away as well if it didn't work.
Yeah, and they keep saying.
And what position would they be in then? Sorry, what position would they be in then if they don't sell him, gets past June the 30th, and then you go back in?
Well, exactly. And this is also the thing I was going to say, that I'm sure there'll be people within that club, Everton, on the financial side of things, that will have given people a number of saying, like, look, if it comes down to it, this is our sort of minimum threshold that we'll need to accept. And Manchester United aren't stupid. They'll have a look at that. They'll have their sources of, like, we know that you're going to come down to this because we know that you kind of have to. I think that's the game of chicken that they're probably going to play. And again, in comparison to Man United, how we've sort of operated in recent years, if we did sign him on or before June 30th, that's quick for us. So that still would be quick. But interestingly, all the reporting, whether it is Simon Stone, whether it is David Ornstein, whether it was Laurie Whitwell, whether it's whoever, they've all stressed, and they said the same thing with Joshua Zirkzee earlier on, that, well, that's just one of several options. So once again, if you want to play hardball with us, we'll just leave. We don't want to then play ball with you. We're happy to negotiate. We're happy to get a fair price. We're happy to pay you what we believe is a reasonable offer. But if you're going to mess us around, 1, you can't afford to, and 2, we'll go elsewhere. We've been linked to Lenny Euro. We've been linked to Matthias de Ligt. We've been linked to all of these other people. And if the reports are to be believed, due diligence is being done on those players, and sort of feelers are being sent out to the agents. So I think that's a key part of it. That is part of it where I have been somewhat impressed by Ineos, because in recent years, who United are going for. Last year, when we knew the real targets pretty quickly straight away, didn't we? Well, we're going for Mason Mount. We're going for Andre Onana. We're going for Rasmus Højlund. And if any of them fell through,
Højlund was really quick.
Yeah. Then we were like, and it was kind of like they had to happen because we weren't really being linked like what other strikers were we being linked with at the time. We were very fringely linked with other goalkeepers, but it became very evident, like, it's Andre Onana, and Man United are going to work to get that Andre Onana deal going. Whereas at the moment, that's not the case with the centre-backs. It's like, oh, it's Jarrad Branthwaite, or it's Lenny Euro, or it's Matthias de Ligt, or it's Mark Gahey, and they're all fairly concrete interests.
Or it's Inicial.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
as I mentioned,
that strengthens United's hand that maybe we didn't have this time last year, and I think that will play quite a lot into this. But if you had to predict today, Flex, with Branthwaite, do you think he'll become a United player?
I've never seen a fan base like ours, because we've got so much going on. We always have to, and just as part of the ride and the fun, we actually do have to do this. When do you reckon this will be done by then?
What do you think will happen?
That's just how
do you think it will happen? Do you just think it will happen? Not when. Do you think it will happen?
I think it will. I think it will. Yeah, I think it will. I don't disagree that we would walk away if the price wasn't right. I do. I feel stronger than ever. More confident than a while that we got the ability to walk away if it's not right. But I just think they will find that middle ground. And Jarrad Branthwaite will be a Man United player, yeah.
What I will say is 1 in the chat if you think it is going to happen, 2 in the chat if you don't think it's going to happen. Let us know. I think that the more I do think about it, Flex, I really think what Laurie Whitwell was saying the other day, it did kind of resonate with me when he said, I wouldn't be surprised if they walked away Ineos just to kind of make a statement to everyone else. There needs to almost it needs to almost be a big statement of, oh man, I walked away from that deal. And he's right when he says, and actually all of the ones I'm going to mention here, City were actually right to walk away from, maybe not so much Declan Rice, but like they walked away from Harry Maguire. They said it's too expensive. They walked away from like Alexis Sanchez at one point. No, wages too much. They walked away from Declan Rice last year. So I wouldn't be shocked if Man United try and replicate something similar where they go, you know what, thanks, but no thanks. You're going to mess us around. We're not to be messed around with. And now like you said before, now you're in trouble because you had a buyer waiting for you and you screwed it up, kind of thing. I won't be shocked if that happens. I'm going to say no, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, Fair enough. Fair enough. And I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad. Like I said, many times, I think he's good, but I don't think it's like, oh, you idiots, we've got to get him. What? Just pay the money. No, we have to be very sensible. If we do get Jarrad Branthwaite, he is good. And we do want to be looking at something like 50, 55 million and going, you know what, I'll tell you what, this is when you see how good he is, hopefully, if he comes, we go, bloody hell, we've actually got a snip here or got a really good deal, because he is that good.
They wanted 70,
he is 80 million's worth.
And we got him for 50.
Yeah.
So you'd be like,
I want to be doing what Arsenal have been doing this year after every game when they go in, they've got a song now and they say, listen, mate, what was it? We got him half price. We got whatever it is. I just want to be saying, 55 million for this kid.
Don't listen to Arsenal songs, mate.
Yeah,
don't know any.
I see this here. Yeah, they do it all the time. Didn't pay enough, mate. West Ham want some more, like just to mock it a bit. I want to be in that position where I'm looking at it, going, bloody hell, 55 million for this. I would have paid 100. He's that good. I want to say that, but obviously don't want to pay that. That's the key here. That's the key here. Uncle has come through from the Reckless Delegates. He says, such disrespect, Flex. Such disrespect. I need to talk to your father. I take it back. I'm not saying it's just you're the reason, but I'm just saying the delegates on KG's channel, whoever you are, you know who you are, put things in his head and he brings it.
That's not their fault though. That's KG's fault. And on top of that,
that's true.
I would say, Uncle, is I'd say KG throws you under the bus quite a bit. Because whenever he says mad stuff and we go, what are you talking about, KG? Immediately he'll go, Uncle told me. Like it's the big brother, what I mean?
I tell you what, Uncle, instead of speaking to my father, you need to speak to his father. You speak to Mr. Gary, because
say that this morning, because I know for a fact at least the last few Trinities he has done it. He said something, go, what are you talking about? He goes, Uncle told me. He would do it all the time. Take it up with KG, Uncle. I won't stand here for it, okay? You got to fight your name, your good name. This morning on KG's show, I hope you have words. I hope you say, actually, we were here battling your corner on United View, and turns out you're the villain involved in all of this. Put him on trial.
The Reckless Delegates, so funny, man. Only KG can have a community where he just the whole point of it is make sure you come on here and say outlandish, say what you feel. That's fine. We'll take it. It's brilliant. It is good. It's good. We are at over 2,000 people watching live, which is sick. Really, really good. 650 likes, pretty much now. Let's get it to 750, guys. I really want the 1K, but let's get to that 750 first and then go from there. I think we can do it. I really, really do. Shout out to you, Uncle, as well. Casemiro exit update. What's going on there?
Yeah, so the possibility, Flex, that Casemiro could be staying at Manchester United, or at the very least could be staying in Europe if he was to leave. Now, this was quite interesting. It comes from Travella, saying that Bayern Munich are interested in signing Casemiro and have held talks with him. However, the talks did not progress because the German club did not offer enough financially for him. Well, I'm not surprised. He's on a giant contract at Manchester United.
Shock.
Yeah, exactly. Even they went, well, I'm not going to do that. Interestingly, they also said Casemiro will only leave Manchester United if he receives an offer that satisfies him financially and is a good project. Finally, also says Casemiro still wants to compete for trophies in European football and is happy to stay at Manchester United and fulfill his contract. Once again,
shock.
Yeah, shock, because he's got an unbelievable contract that no other club would dare to offer him. He's the highest paid player at the club. But is that, I mean, look, whether or not that article is actually true and accurate or not, we'll wait and see. But is that something we've maybe sort of overlooked a little bit? We've just sort of broadly said, well, we just sort of broadly said, haven't we? Wow, Saudi will come in this summer and that'll be done. And then I suppose what we really haven't considered enough, and we've mentioned it a little bit by saying Saudi's actually a big savior for us when it comes to this, that like, well, if he wants to stay in Europe, then we're screwed because no club's going to offer the money to buy him out for a 3-year deal. Nobody's going to match the wages that he's on. That could prove to be a big problem for us.
Yeah, of course it can. That's the reality of the situation. And the other reality is he could choose to stay and he could do all right next season. Like, different tactics, a few more different players in there.
Do you believe that, Flex?
Probably not.
Or you saying that for devil's advocate?
Well, no, well, a little bit of both. Because there is a bit of like, obviously the fall off from him last year was bad. But sometimes there always does have to be a little bit of, someone has some bounce back ability in them. He's been through a lot in his career. He's seen it all. won the lot, as the song goes. Like he's been there and done it before. He's probably experienced bad seasons in his whole career at the top level. So we shouldn't. I'm not saying he's going to be able to run around like Kante next season, but like with our manager, who's clearly should have learnt a lot of stuff and changed a lot of things, you can't rule out. You can't say it's impossible that he looks a bit better this season than he did last season. Puts those injuries behind him, gets himself a good preseason, does well in the Copa America or whatever. Actually, he's even in the squad.
No, not in the squad.
Well, there you go. Fresh, not in the squad. Fresh, doesn't go there.
That changed quickly,
fresh,
didn't it?
That changed. But it's true, though.
You can have a good Copa America. He's not in the squad. Well, it could be fresh.
He's not going there. He get fresh, that little hamstring, his knees that would go in. He would treat himself properly. And we can't undo everything in one window. And especially with someone who has as much leverage as Casemiro does, like just even reading them quotes or them lines there. Of course, I'm not shocked to hear any single one of them. Of course, he would only leave if the project looks good and it financially suits him. And of course, he could stay because he's happy to fight for trophies and see out his contract. Why would he not be happy to see out his contract for 3 years at that money? It does come down to personal pride, though. Don't get me wrong. He's been at the top level for a long time. If he sees himself on the bench every week till January, he might go, right, I'm Casemiro now. I'm not getting any younger. I'm not doing this. But that will give us a big problem because we'll still have to find a solution to subsidize these wages. And if he wants to stay in Europe, but we need to get him off the books and we need to accept a deal, we might have to pay him off. There's a lot there that we can still get hurt by this deal unless Saudi just come in and take everything. So to answer your question, I haven't really overlooked the fact that he could stay. Like, I've been like, yeah, pray for Saudi because otherwise he's staying. He ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, make no mistake. We talk about sins of the past. And again, you want to be respectful because Casemiro he's achieved. And in his first season at United, he was really good to the point that if he didn't play, we didn't win. I mean, he was that important in the first season. I remember when he got suspended and missed that Arsenal game. At that point, we were on the fringe of being possibly in a title race. We were like, oh, he's got to play. And if he doesn't play, we're going to lose. And we did lose. So, I suppose there is the possibility he could bounce back from that. If he was a younger player, you'd be much more confident with that. I think it's more looking at an older player thinking, oh, is he now on the decline? Is he now is his trajectory going downwards? And also, given how the season ended for him with that FA Cup final where he was on the bench, wasn't he on the bench? He had an injury and there was, then Amrabat's brother came out, said something, then retracted it. People thought, oh, is there something in that? Does that mean that he's going to go? But ultimately, this is a problem of Manchester United's doing. Manchester United gave a player over 30. First of all, they spent all that money on him and they gave him a lengthy contract with a huge amount of money. And you run a risk every time you do that deal with anyone. But now it's Casemiro's prerogative what he wants to do. If he says, I don't want to move. I've just moved here a few years ago. My family settled here. I'm on good money. I'm at Manchester United. I don't want to leave. Then it's kind of a non-starter. Then it's just that's nothing that Man United can do about it. And they'll have to move on. And if he wants to stay in Europe, then he's going to stay at Man United because there's this. Unless
they're going to get a better deal somewhere else.
Yeah, unless it was literally a team he knows I'm going to go to. I'm just going to win unless it's like I'm going to go back to Real Madrid again, basically. Unless it was something short of that, which it won't be. Then he wouldn't be going anywhere. So if that truly is his point of view, I'd want to stay in Europe. Then he's staying because he's not going to go anywhere else.
It'd have to be a remarkable turnaround for him to go somewhere else in Europe. I don't see how or where, but funny if stranger things have happened in football. But also what we have to remember is that if he stays, which could easily happen, it's probably 50-50, it'd be interesting to see how much that would derail us being able to get another central midfielder of some sort. Does that mean that it's low cost for Amrabat? So then we'd just have to go with that again because you have to just keep him. Or you don't spend that 20 million on Amrabat, but you try and find some youngster somewhere for like 20-25 million and get him in. Because how much funds are we going to be able to raise if someone like Casemiro doesn't leave in that area as well of the pitch? Like Eriksen will go, he's part of the first team. Donny hasn't been part of the first team for a while. So it's almost like that doesn't really affect our actual match day squad, our bench and our starting 11. McTominay, is he going to go this summer? If the right bids comes in, I think Ineos would look at it, but would probably not. I don't know. You never know. Who else is there? Like I said, it's Amrabat and Casemiro. Other than that, they're all staying. Bruno's going to stay. Mason Mount's going to stay. And obviously, Kobbie's not going anywhere. So this Casemiro thing will unleash a chain of events, whichever way. If he stays, it will knock the dominoes in the way of. God, I'll tell you what. Well, there's not a lot of money we've got there for that area. Amrabat's been here already a year. He's low cost. Might have to make that permanent for a couple of years now. Or if he goes, then you go, right, I tell you what, we don't do the Amrabat one. We've got Casemiro off the books. We could probably get 2 in. You just don't know, do you? So it would be interesting to see or if he stays, could we still get someone else? To me,
you know what's funny as well, and this is I think this subject and this deal, this contract, it is like the true representation of so you're saying. So when you talk about Casemiro and you go, well, a lot of money, that whole deal just in general was a strange deal to do on the face of it. Worked out for one season, hasn't worked out for the second season. If you can get him off the books and then bring in a replacement, a younger replacement, that would be good. And that turns into, so you're saying Casemiro is rubbish and he's never done anything in his career. And also, so you're saying you think this player is better than Casemiro with all of his Champions Leagues. And you go, well, no, there's Casemiro's career is phenomenal. He's part of one of the most successful Real Madrid sides ever. Won the Champions League, was part of the team that won it 3 years in a row, won it another time with Carlo Ancelotti. When he first came in, he was brilliant. And we were talking about the leadership and we were talking about his experience and we were talking about his winning attitude. And we absolutely needed that. And look, if he does stay, it's never a case of Casemiro's professionalism or anything like that. And again, it's even when he does play, it's not as if he plays terribly in the games. It's more of a concern
he has done.
It's more concerned about physical decline, isn't it? Sometimes you can see what he's trying to do.
Yeah, but giving the ball away,
and he can't do it anymore. But again, that for me is a physical decline because he's playing in a quick league and he can't do it like he maybe could a couple of years ago. Because again, the year before, it wasn't as bad as it was last year. It wasn't. Now, granted,
he has got a lack of technical ability, though.
Granted, you can make an argument. You can make an argument that we saw a lot of midfielders, pretty much every midfielder, struggle last year in that system, in that team. So if things do get kind of shored up a little bit,
that's what I'm saying. You can't rule that out.
No, you cannot rule that out. But sort of again, spare me the narrative of talking about his future. That turns into he's never won anything and he's rubbish. That's what you're saying. It's like, well, it's not.
Yeah,
it's
no,
not.
yeah, you're disrespecting him.
And we can't.
It's about what we can do now.
And this, once again, is what I say is sometimes we have to be careful as Manchester United fans because we ask for one thing, then we get it, and then we say we don't like it anymore. We go, enough of getting in doing these silly transfers with high wages, and then at the same time we're like, well, let's not be mean here.
Yeah.
Well, what do we want then?
The truth with Casemiro is this. Look, the deal that it was with the financials and the length of the deal, we can all agree that was wrong.
That was always the problem. Yeah.
Whether we saw it on the day he signed or not, because obviously he was in a bad spot, and I put myself into this. We don't often look at that bit. Rivals do. And some Man United fans go, I tell you what, nah, mate. 5 years for him coming from a Real Madrid team where he wasn't even that guy. And now you're going to bring him here and make him that guy in this league, in this Man United team for that long. What are we doing? But again, if it was so that wasn't right. In terms of the credentials that he has, is it suitable? Well, yeah, the first season was good. He can bring a winning mentality. He can get you goals, which we did actually expect that in the first season. He understands where to be on the pitch and, can win tackles here and there and do the ugly side of the game and usually should progress the ball to people who can play, which is what he's done his whole career. Be compact, get about the pitch, win the ball back, do the ugly stuff. When he's got a bit of space and time to play, balls around the corner or balls into he can play, he's not super press resistant, playing in triangles, bopping it around people. No, that's Kroos and Modric, mate. Yeah, you let them do that. So he has a role, but his decline versus the contract he's on just made it very, very apparent that this has not been a good deal. No matter which way you see it, unless Casemiro does a madness for the next 2 years for us, which I can't see, this transfer will always go down as one we shouldn't have done. It's the same with the Varane one.
If it was a 3-year deal, right? If it was a 3-year deal,
exactly.
then You know, if you're going into his last year, you know, then if something like that, it was always that was the problem. It's never an issue with Casemiro's ability, his experience, what he's achieved in his career. It's the crux of the deal. And you can play whataboutism and go, well, why don't you talk about this player? Why don't you talk about that player? All right. But we're not talking about those players at the moment. We're talking about Casemiro because the story's about Casemiro. If you want to talk about, like, because people, when you bring it, again, it's the what about, why, well, so you're saying we should keep McTominay then? Or so you're saying you're happy with how Mason Mount turned out last season? Well, no. But I'm not talking. We're not talking about them at the moment. You know, if you want to have that conversation, you can and say if an offer comes in for Scott McTominay this summer, take it. If it's good enough, pure profit. If you want to talk about Mason Mount's season at last year at Man United, he didn't have one. He barely played. He got injured all the time. And my goodness me, I mean, I said like 2 injuries ago about that one. That if he starts off next season and then a few games in he gets injured, he's in massive trouble. Because I think the jury, to say the jury's out on him, I think is a bit of an understatement, really. I mean, he's had a bad season with injuries. And if it's another one, then it's becoming a non-starter, really.
Yeah, he's got to be fit and ready to go.
But that's a separate conversation to Casemiro. You know what I mean? That's what is weird about the sort of whataboutism that we do as Man United fans. When you're talking about Casemiro, just focusing on him.
Just change it to someone else for no reason.
Let's talk about Luke Shaw instead. Okay.
So you're saying Luke Shaw should get a new 5-year deal?
Exactly. It's exactly what I'm saying.
It's true. 770 likes. Big up. Let's get over 800. Last story of the day. Kobbie Mainoo praises Erik Ten Hag. Smash the like on the video. Make sure you lot hit subscribe. Where are we at? We're at just under 1,800 people watching. We did have over 2K, so we reached our peak, which was good. But it'd be nice to get as close to 1K likes in the last few minutes of the show as well. So yes, good for Kobbie. You know, doing England duty as well as now being put in front of the press. These are all, you know, again, tick that off the not bucket list, but tick that off one of the things he's done since the turn of the year, since March, I think it is, which has just been just ridiculous. No, before that. When did he play against Wolves? When did he come back? October, November?
It came out towards the end of the year, wasn't it?
That Everton game. When was that? It was towards the end of the year.
That's like October-ish time.
Do you know what I mean? So since then, it's just been an absolute whirlwind. Last 12 months, not even 12 months for him yet. And to be put in front of the media, in front of the nation in a national tournament where all eyes are going to be on you. Every word you say, you're a Man United player. You are the new star boy. Everyone's talking about you. I know Adam Wharton done it the other week as well, so good experience for him. But these young players coming through, it's a big experience. And he's done it at Man United, having to speak, you know, to the media and handles it really well. And by all means, it looked like he's done exactly the same again in front of the England media.
Yeah, well, here's what he said. He was asked a lot about Erik Ten Hag, as you would expect, of the news of Ten Hag staying. He said, I'm happy to be building with him. Got 2 trophies. Hopefully there's more to come. Peace of mind to know what manager we have when we return. I'm so grateful for him. He put so much trust in me to play in the team. I can't thank him enough. He also said there was always a lot of speculation in the media about what would happen, but I tried not to pay attention to it. It's nice to find out that he's staying. He also says we can continue building with him and hopefully win more. And it made me think, actually, Flex, is there, I mean, when you're talking about players that have benefited the most from Erik Ten Hag's sort of tenure at Manchester United, you put Kobbie right up there in that conversation with you.
Let's be honest. It's weird because, well, and you have to put Garnacho in that as well.
But he'd be up top of that list.
100. Them two are the best. The top, they are, because I know Rashford. We can say, look, he got Rashford's best ever season out of him in his whole career. So Rashford could say thank you for that. But obviously, with the drop off this year, there's work to be done. But in terms of Kobbie and Garnacho in particular, let's just talk about Kobbie because we are now. You know, that I think that because it was so visible what happened in the Carabao Cup final of. You see this, brother. You just wait. We're going to win trophies together. Stick with me. Just follow my, like he says, the rules and the principles. Follow my lead. I'm going to bring you in at the right time. And literally that same pre-season, which was last pre-season after winning that Carabao Cup, that was the progression there. Right, you're in the team. We're going to plan with you. Let's be honest, he was probably going to start the season. I think we could all see.
Yeah, he said that himself, Ten Hag, in one of the press conferences, and he had a couple before that. Even the season prior, he had a couple of appearances. I think came against like Charlton in either the FA Cup or Carabao Cup. So here and there, Very sort of
So
fringe stuff. The plan was always there. You're right.
the plan was always there. So the fact that he did it and the way that Kobbie took to that shows that the belief that the manager who ultimately makes the final decision of him playing, and the coaches, all the work that's been done around Kobbie, the fact that they all come to fruition and they can see him thriving in the top level now is insane. So Eric deserves massive, respect for his pathway. Also, when you read certain articles at The Athletic and different articles, they go back and say when Eric first come as well, he said, "Who's that kid in there? Get him up a few levels. He's coasting. Right, get him in first team training." Like he kept pushing him to say, "Right, let's get this kid ready." And the Garnacho one, let's be honest, he deserves massive praise for that too, because this kid came through at the academy, got him in from Atletico Madrid, had to work on him. The first preseason that we did with Eric, it didn't go to plan. His attitude was off. He got left out, and they always kept talking about it. So you had to rebuild him, show him the way, get him to buy in. And, just before the World Cup was when Garnacho was coming into it, got the winner against Fulham just before we went off to the World Cup, doing things off the bench. Then the rest of that season, come off the bench against Wolves, scored, sat down Semedo, remember that? Changed the game against City, against Kyle Walker, crossed it. We scored. Like, just little things. And then the second season was like, right, there's a taste of what you can do now. Knuckle down. And then because of what happened to Sancho, what happened to Anthony, what happened to Rashford, there became a bigger opportunity to fast track.
Played so many games, yeah.
Played so many games, and he did it. So, yeah, man. I to cut a long story short, I think Eric Ten Hag deserves massive praise for both them players. To be honest with you. Right. Big up, guys. Thanks for watching. We got to just under 800 likes. Let's round that off, guys. 794. Come on, get that to 800. Owen, games today. What have we got coming up?
Yes, so there's obviously Germany back in action. The second round of games begins now that every single team has played. So there's Germany versus Hungary, which is 5 o'clock. I'll be live just before then. And also this evening, the Flower of Scotland. I won't be singing that, but they are going to be playing Switzerland. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them, because they have, insisted that, yes, they were expected to lose against Germany, but that was just a bad performance flex. They're better than that. They are better than that.
They have to show it.
Going to deliver. But Switzerland were very impressive in their performances. And to be fair, I thought yesterday, game of the tournament for me, Turkey-Georgia. Oh,
yeah.
What
Who would have thought that?
Brilliant game. Superb game. Great atmosphere. Great conditions. It was pissing
I
down.
tell you what, the Turks are mental.
Yeah.
They are.
And the goals in that game, by the way, some of the goals were brilliant. It was just the best game. And it was like, they go up the other end, score, make it 3-1. But Georgia hit the post. There's a shot blocked off the line at the end. It was a brilliant game. To be fair, like a lot of the games at the tournament have been good. Really, really good.
It's almost like the World Cup, when everyone was like saying, "Oh, I don't know about it being out there," and I don't know about this thing. As soon as the game started kicking off, it was like, right, we're tapped in here. This is
this is meant to be, first round of games is meant to be sort of the boring time of just don't want to lose. Mate. But now if it's going to get better than this, then hey, I'm all in.
Yeah, so check out the 2 games today. We've also got What the Devil on the way as well with the guys from United District. So look out for that. And also another video coming to you very, very soon. A video, little catch up. A lot of you guys have been asking for it. We've been working it for a while anyway. I think it'd be good to do. Video with the Muppeteers is incoming as well. So Laurie Whitwell the other day, Muppeteers today. Why not? We're bringing you that content, man. We're getting into our network. Yeah, getting into our network. So yeah, big up to the Muppeteers. We'll be doing something with them later on. I know you guys have been asking for that when we put out the stuff with Laurie Whitwell. Weirdly, actually, because it was in the pipeline, a lot of people in the comments was like, "Oh, this is really good. Would love if you did something with the Muppeteers too." Yeah, well, listen, don't worry about that, mate. Don't you worry about that. Don't go anywhere. So yes, smash the like on the video. We'll see you later on with loads of content. And of course, if there's emergency lives that need to happen, they will happen. Because we've signed somebody, because there's a here we go. So yeah, see you later, guys. We're out of it. Take care. Peace.